Carbonites Gaming.
Welcome back, Knights. Today is going to be the last episode in the series involving the fusion monsters. So what we're going to look at today is the last two 5-star fusion monsters that you can get. They are going to be, let's pull them up here, both damage dealers, but each damage dealer has kind of its own little quirk that makes it work best. So we'll start off with Katarina, the Wind Valkyria. Uh, Once again, just like every other 5-star fusion monster, it is three 4-star monsters that are fusible, and one secret dungeon. Um, so for Katarina, the best thing about her is her third skill. It is a high damage, ignore defense skill. But in order to use it, you have to have the invincibility. Um, so invincibility you can get from Chloe. Chloe gives the full team invincibility, which is great. But there's one monster that works really, really well with her, and it's also a fusible monster. So it is Kubezanuf, the water. Um, the hell is he? Horus, right? Now this is the first time I've really shown you a 4-star monster as a fusible. So this is going to be three 3-star monsters and one 2-star monster. Um, so 3-star monsters, like you can get from mystical scrolls usually. You can get them from unknown scrolls. A lot of them you can look through some of the scenario, and you can get them through the scenario as well. But Kubezanuf works outrageously well with Katarina. And the reason is because Kubezanuf's third skill, I'll just pull those two up on my account here. Um, Kubezanuf's third skill is uh, so increases the attack power and critical rate of all allies, plus puts invincibility on one monster, which just so happens to be Katarina. So you put that skill on Katarina, you increase her crit rate, which I think goes up by 30%. You increase her attack rate, which I don't know the multiplier on that. I'm going to go with, let's say, 20-ish, 20 to 25. And then she's invincible for one turn. A lot of people put her on Will, just because that way you're guaranteed to get that hit. Um, but I do not have mine on Will. I think my build is quite slow, but I have her on attack, crit damage, attack, with as much attack, as much crit damage, and as much crit rate as I feel I need. So with that crit rate buff from Kubezanuf, I need 70% crit rate. I'm a little low on it. I was looking at switching her over to Will, but I kind of came up with a different plan for her. But yeah, so there's two fusion monsters that are absolutely great together, and I'll try and see if we have a guild war I can do something in here. Cool. Get out of here. Let's try and find a guild war for her. Wow, it's just great here. All right, so I can use it against her. Um, the issue is that is a defense. I'll go against it. So what you're looking for in this idea is you want to get the immunity or the invincibility off of her. And then the bottom one, I'll just do something quick. What are we going to do that's quick? So with this, don't be judging my teams too much, but essentially I'll just showcase the first one. So what we're trying to do is the way that the Katarina is going to work is you want that invincibility so that you can get that huge buff to her attack. So you put that third skill on the Katarina. So notice she used third skill, hit for 5,000. I'm going to use my third skill, and it's going to hit for 30,000. So not a bad skill to have. And then her second skill also gives the option to, if it kills one monster, it will put the immunity buff back onto her, which is great. All right, so we'll kind of quickly run through this, I think. Um, but these are the types of things that you're looking for when you're building a Katarina. You want something with big, big damage. So you're looking for high attack subs, high crit rate subs, and high crit damage. Now the reason you want a high crit damage, you know what, let's just quit out of this one. And we'll continue. So that's kind of the Katarina that you're looking at. She's really good in R5. She is depending on if you're building her with the right team. So I was talking to Poseidon earlier today. There is a team called a Thundercat team, and that's using Katarina as well as the Lightning Emperor, Baleygr. There's the KB5, it's Thundercat, it's a lot of different names. The issue is the rune quality and the speed tuning that you need for that is very difficult to achieve at a lower level. But if you're looking for a good damage dealer at a lower level, um, that Katarina is not a bad option if you have Kabeznuf with it. And now obviously you want Kabeznuf to move before Katarina to get that coverage, and then you can get that big damage. So once again, here's my build on my Katarina. It'll be attack, attack, crit damage. So there's a lot of room for improvement on these runes. A lot of room for improvement, I suppose. But essentially, she works for me. She hits for about 30,000 without very grinded towers. And then, what's her speed? So plus 27, which isn't a whole lot for those of you that know. And then my Kabeznuf is just an absolute mishmash of runes. And that's just essentially to get the speed. So it's probably like a speed, defense, HP. Yeah. Once again, it just does what I need it to. It stays alive for one turn. It's not even 6-star. And I've been using this fairly often. So that's the first monster, and I guess another kind of bonus monster, the Katarina. And Katarina is going to be great against water tanks. So if you find yourself against a team of, let's say, um, Ariel, the water archangel, which gives 50% bonus HP to water, and then say a Wusa and a Molong, right? All water monsters, you have that extra bonus to crit, so you have a lot better chance of doing high damage when you use that particular monster. The second monster is another one that's kind of got its own little niche thing, is going to be Baleygr. Now Baleygr is once again 3 fusible 4-star monsters and 1 secret dungeon. The thing about Baleygr is his attack, and mine isn't 6-star, don't be hating too hard. So his attack is essentially based on how many stacks it has, or so you gain the stacks by getting what is it? It's beneficial effects, yeah. So once you get say 5 beneficial effects, or you have 2 and an enemy dies, or a teammate dies, and you get to that 5 stacks, that's when this third skill comes into play. And what it does is it hits enemies in the order of low to the highest HP ratio based on the number of knowledge that you have. And so if you have 5 knowledge, it will destroy the enemy's max HP by 50% of the damage that you deal. So say you hit an Eladriel, the wind uh, archangel. Um, you hit him and you destroy 50% of the damage dealt. You hit him for say 20,000. That means you're destroying 10,000 of his HP, which is really not that bad given it's an HP based reviver. Um, But once again, where are you going to use this, right? Well, R5 if you have that team set up, but that's a lot more late game than it is early game. And given this is kind of, if you're looking into the fusions, you've probably already surpassed the fact that you won't be doing R5 today. But with a Baleygr, great place for him is secret dungeons. If I had one open, and it's water day, which kind of makes it a little difficult, but let's see if we can get something going here. I do not want a water secret dungeon. So the great thing about Baleygr is, I'll just run him through a couple things here. He is great once his stacks are full. So he's a little less great when his stacks aren't full. He still does damage, but it's nowhere near to the effect of what it is once you get those 5 stacks. So the reason he's going to be so good in secret dungeons is because there's a lot of enemies. He can do, that first skill and kill somebody, and then he's got max knowledge. So now once he uses his third skill, it attacks in order of the HP. So now he's got the 5 skills, which is going to be kind of useless for him right now. But um, the other good thing is that third skill never goes on cooldown. So you can use your first skill as much as you want, and then if you want to use the second skill, or sorry, the third skill, you just wait until you have 5 knowledge. It never goes on cooldown. Um, so for me, when I was looking at building him, I just built him probably a month ago. Haven't looked into 6-starring him. I don't have any skill ups into him or anything like that. But he's very much a monster that's kind of got that niche setup. Um, that's kind of why I waited so long to look into him. It's the same for Katarina. The only reason I built my Katarina is because it was the last monster I pulled when you could still pull fusible 5 stars out of scrolls. So I kept her, never really built her, and then I use her in Labyrinth, which I use 4 Valkyrias, which yes, I have 4 Valkyrias, and in a Labyrinth run, and it works out really, really well. So we'll run one more here, chuck another Dragon Knight in. So with Baleygr, it's kind of that you're looking for that setup. So will runes give a quick bonus. Shield runes give a quick bonus. If you have an attack bar booster, like let's say Megan or Bastet, that's 2 more buffs. So if you're using, say, Megan, Bernard, and then Lucian and Baleygr, well, if you use the first 2, there's 3 buffs. And then if you get a kill with Lucian, which you probably should, depending on the team you're running it into, um, then you're going to get the third or the 5 stacks for Baleygr, and then he's just going to be able to do his big AoE skill. Probably get another kill or 2, and that will boost it back up so he can use that AoE skill again the next turn if there is a next turn. So if you're looking into damage dealers, these aren't bad. Don't get me wrong; they have their places, but along with this is just painful to watch. Um, Along with those monsters and their places, there's also other monsters you can use for damage dealing. So always be sure to check your 3-star monsters for what you can do. For instance, Kali gives attack boost, gives speed buff, gives herself immunity, and then has an ignore defense second skill. 3-star monster, easy to skill up, and just huge damage. Um, Other 3-star, 4-star monsters, right, that you could use. Rigel can't be stunned. Not a bad thing to have. Malaka, bombers aren't bad, right? If you pull a Malaka or a Taurus, I always recommend Malaka more because it's got a higher base attack, and obviously your bombs do damage based on attack. So you can put an attack slot 2 rune in, which otherwise wouldn't be overly useful. But if you have a bomber and attack slot, or sorry, slot 4 rune, if you have a bomber, an attack slot 4 rune is going to be useful. But aside from that, just keep your eyes open as to what would interest you and kind of what the skills are that you can use on some of these monsters. Um, but yeah, as for Katarina and for Baleygr, they're great monsters if you use them in the right way. And once again, Katarina's really easy to use in the right way. You just make sure that you have a Kabezanuv or a Chloe with her. Same with Baleygr. Baleygr is really easy to use in the right way as long as you have something that gives you buffs. If you have something that gives you buffs, or it can move second after another damage dealer, you're pretty much laughing. Um, Aside from that, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment. Like I say every video, I love reading the comments that you guys leave. Let me know what you want to do next. I've got a couple ideas for a couple more videos, but I want to know what it is that people want to know about the game. Um, It's just about the end of our TA season. I think it's going to end tomorrow when this video comes out. So, we can look into some RTA stuff, which is not a very beginner thing, but I've heard rumors that ComTOS is actually going to be revamping the system in which they use for RTA. And now to give you an idea, I was kind of tinkering around with RTA just to play around, and I ended up getting some wings. So I'm currently sitting at C1 in RTA, which is a lot better than I thought I would get. But my team's a little overpowered, and I can show a couple videos if you like. Wusa and Hathor are both on there, but let me know what you guys want to see. If you want to see more kind of beginner stuff, if you want me to look more into how you would build a speed team for certain things, or arena teams, or arena defense, tactics for Labyrinth, leave it in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button so that, if I do make the video, you can at least see it. And like usual, if you're on Twitch, if you watch on twitch.tv, if you're on there, whatever, Carbon_Knights, check us out on there. Throw a follow down, even if we're not on. It'll let you know when we jump on. You can come and ask your questions in person. But aside from that, oh, I forgot something. Let's crack that beard. There we go. So, one more time, Katarina, Baleygr, very good damage dealer units if used in the proper way. Aside from that, I will see you next time, Knights, and remember to keep those shields up. Well, Knights, you made it all the way to the end. You know what that means. You've won the chance to watch another one of our videos, or perhaps even subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.